Hello again. I'm Charles McHenry, and welcome to my second podcast. In this podcast, I'm going to teach you guys a little something about conflict, a word that many use but few have really studied. I chose this topic because it is one that is very important in the career that I am trying to pursue. So let's get started. When most people think of conflict, they immediately think of a fight or an argument. Something negative is always associated with it. But the truth is, conflicts can bring forth both negative and positive effects. Conflicts can pose negative effects if it stops you from doing your work, endangers any of your relationships, and makes you want to abandon a relationship. Now, when conflict is positive or healthy, it can help bring together different viewpoints, like diversity. Diversity wouldn't be diverse if there wasn't conflict. Think about that. Healthy conflicts can also boost your personal growth and elevate awareness. Now, there are plenty of conflict situations, and we're going to talk about just a few of them. The first being conflict in the workplace. Now, I know I'm not the first to say I've had conflicts at work. There's been plenty of times I've butted heads with someone on a specific issue, but there is a way to minimize the conflicts or turn them into healthy ones. But to get there, we must start from the origins of conflict, find out where they're stemming from. Conflicts can start from a variety of things. Poor communication, power seeking, and lack of opportunity are just a few, and those are normally a result from poor management. You can see the signs of when a conflict might arise. Just look at the body language or listen to the tone of one's voice. Even the eyes can tell you. Now, if that person doesn't voice the conflict and holds it in, the world may never see the next big thing. That person's opinion might take hold to the other listeners and get put in place if you would just speak. But if you don't speak, nothing good can come from it. There are other more blatant signals that you can see, such as a person making strong public statements among the group or in the media. Think of unions. How many times have we seen strikes from the unions? It's because of a disagreement that brought forth conflict. Either no one spoke up about it and it exploded, or the union just didn't want to change. Conflict can be really destructive when it starts to pull you from cooperation. If bad enough, it can make you throw your morals and self-concepts out the window. And when that happens, fighting and name-calling is next, because we're pushed past our threshold. At that point, something has to be done to improve the situation. Now, with all negatives aside, conflict can be constructive. It can help bring issues to the surface, motivate silent people to express their opinions. This communication can help release stress and anxiety and could lead to resolution. Healthy conflict can help you understand me, or vice versa, and it may refine communication and perception skills. There are some proven ways to resolve conflicts according to my textbook on page 245. Number 1 is always meet conflict head on. You are eventually going to have to talk about it, so why drag it out? Just get it over with. Number 2, don't lie. Be honest about your feelings. Not everyone is going to feel how you feel, but at least express it and agree to disagree if need be. And number 3, set goals for working with your team. Plan and communicate frequently. I said it earlier, miscommunication is a cause of conflict. Lose your ego and devote your time to coming up with a resolution. Put all these in place and productivity should flourish. Now, inner conflict is a little different. Inner conflict is when two or more competing opinions or options demand a decision. It's when your mind shifts back and forth from one option to another. Kind of like when two video games come out and you really want both of them, but you only have money for one. Normally, inner conflict can be resolved quickly when you use the whole pros and cons approach to the situation. But when two options pull you in two different directions, or both have equally positive outcomes, it can become stressful to figure out which is best. Now, according to my behavioral science textbook on page 246, it says there's 4 major types of conflict. I'm going to briefly go over all 4. The first one is approach/approach, which is tension resulting from the equivalent appeal of two options. like trying to pick between two movies to watch when they both look great. The second one is avoidance. Tension resulting from the equivalent repulsion of two options. One of the examples it has in the book is trying to figure out what to wear when most of your clothes are dirty. Do you wash them or find some remains in your closet? Neither are appealing to you. The third is approach/avoidance. The tension resulting from the simultaneous attractions and repulsions of the same issue. Like you decide to be the designated driver, but once at the bar you want a beer to blend in. They both are good and both are bad internally to you. And the fourth is multiple approach/avoidance. The tension resulting from two or more choices, each with compelling positive and negative attributes. This is the most difficult to me. Like for my wife right now, we are financially hurting. She is in school at night and spends the day with our daughter. She wants to get a job to help, but is afraid she will never see our daughter if she still does school. On the other hand, she could stop school for a while, get a job, and still see our daughter, but then she would regret stopping school. She chose to stop school to help us out. She had to put her priorities in line, and faith, our daughter, came first. And I think that is how you overcome inner conflict. You have to use the pros and cons and place priorities. So, to sum it all up, conflict is not only negative, it can be positive. There is more to conflict than fighting and arguing. Conflict can bring forth new ideas, better brainstorming sessions, and when healthy, it can encourage people to speak up. Inner conflicts provide ways for us to decide. When handled correctly, inner conflicts can help us see more clearly because we try to figure out which is the better option. What I learned from completing this assignment is that there is more to conflict. I used to be one of those people who thought of it as a fighting or arguing too, but now I have a better understanding of it, which will benefit in my current position. But it also taught me I need to speak up. Sometimes I stay quiet and I have an idea, but fear for what others might think or say or do. So I'm going to try to improve on that. Well, thanks for joining me. Until next time.